So I know as we move on from budgeting, a topic of discussion that comes up is surrounding in-house versus external counsel. Chad, how do you determine what type of legal work you'll keep in-house versus what type of legal work you'll allocate to external counsel?
Yeah, for sure. And in case anyone's looking for another tool, we use Vena as well, which kind of feels like Excel. So that's another one in case you want to take a look at that. So I think that this question really depends on what your company is and what kind of talent that you have. But the ideal is, and it's good because we have three different people here whose companies do three different things, and we have three different backgrounds, and it makes sense, and it should make sense that whatever your company does, the bread and butter of what they do, hopefully you're not spending boatloads of money on that unless it's a massively transactional operation, in which case you probably have external counsel. But otherwise, you want to, I would think, or at least my experience has been, you do a lot of that stuff yourself. So in my existence, 80% B2B, 20% B2C, like negotiating the terms of our SaaS agreements is not something that I outsource. And we could talk about this later, but we use tools for that as well to help make it more efficient. But when I think about things like beyond kind of 101 data security stuff, we want to blow out a product to a new jurisdiction or things like this, we want to do like an overall assessment on a B2C platform. I see there's lots of value there for me because I know enough about data security and privacy from doing this long enough, but I don't know the details of each jurisdiction's nuances. So there's value there for that kind of spend. Or like IP management. Like I know enough about managing an IP, platform, but I'm not going to do filings. I'm not going to do disputes. And so there's like value to outsourcing that sort of thing. And so when I think about it, it's whatever the company does at bread and butter, either come with or gain those skills because they're going to be expecting you to do that stuff for the vast majority of it. And then when you think about transactions or more nuanced things that are within that 20% of your kind of life cycle, litigation, IP, we have real estate everywhere and managing it day to day, we would do in-house. But if we're going to do a sublease or whatever it is, I'm not going to, the way that I see it, and Ryan was talking about this too, is like my value prop to the company isn't there. My value prop would be managing that sublease negotiation and make sure it's efficient, we're capturing what we need, the commercials are making sense for our overall risk profile. But like for me to conjure up a sublease would make no sense because then I'm spending way too much time doing that and not doing what the business needs, which is a lot of strategic advice or tactical advice on what is the core of our business. So I think about the non-core things, and then I think about what slice of those non-core things, that's what I outsource. But when I outsource it, I'm always trying to learn at the same time too, because otherwise you just pay one off. You never get smarter. You should always be trying to get smarter on that stuff so that it's more interesting for you. The advice is better internally, and then you're just handing off the stuff that is uninteresting or too technical or just requires the bench strength. That's how I do the division of it.
Yeah, I love that you're taking those experiences and you're learning from them, which is really definitely important. And
if you can't speak about it internally, people are going to be worried, right?
yeah,
Like they're going to ask you basic questions and they're going to assume because you're a lawyer, criminal law, family law, get them out of parking tickets, they're going to expect you to know something about it. If you can't speak to it, like I was new to IP law when I went to Indigo. Indigo has a massive brand and a huge portfolio. And if I didn't learn that stuff to like that 65% level that you can handle 80% of the questions that are coming in with a level of confidence, then you're never showing improvement and growth for yourself and for others. And they lose trust if every single time you got to be like, I'll be back to you in 24 hours once I can wrangle up my external counsel. Like it's not a fun way to live. And you lose the trust of your business partner. So nobody's going to expect you to know everything all the time, but you got to learn and grow.
absolutely. But knowledge share is very important. And I know that just from Chad speaking, Jamie and Ryan, you were just as engaged. If you have any other comments about this topic, I think the audience would love to hear it.
One analogy that I use all the time, and I feel free, anyone could steal it if they like it, and it seems to resonate with the business, is you tell the business is, think of me like an emergency room doctor. You want to come to me with everything, and I'm going to be able to help you. I'm going to be able to do some stitches. I'm going to be able to set a bone. I'm going to be able to diagnose some stuff. But if you need heart surgery, I got to find a cardiologist. So I got to find that privacy specialist in Ireland or wherever to help us out. And people really it really resonates with that because people think of lawyers in this kind of global sense, but really we don't have the answers to their parking dispute or the privacy matter in Japan, but we can help them find it. And like Chad said, building that trust that you can fix most things, you can handle most things, the day-to-day stuff, but there's an understanding that the more complicated asks are going to take a little bit more time and they have to trust you that you're going to get them the right answer.
And it's actually funny because what Jamie said about needing a privacy lawyer in Ireland, I was actually just thinking of something that happened last month where we needed a privacy lawyer in England to respond to a GDPR request. And the lawyer we said was really good at it. They said, oh, no problem. These happen all the time. Here's the form. And they really just did it without too much thought. And unknown to us at the time is that in the particular request related to, some other things are happening externally where people were very highly sensitive to this one particular borrower. And so when we went to review it with the managing director, they were they really focused on this request because it related to some other things that were going on. And having known that, I probably would have dug in a little bit further as to why exactly all these things are happening, because I was having to try to figure it out on the fly. Okay, this does look like standard stuff, but what's the reasons behind it? I think it's good to, as Chad said, it's good to know, even if it's something that seems very standard, it's good to really dig into it to be able to really explain it well, even if your external counsel on the other side is going, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake, no problem, it's very standard, just do this and we'll be okay. It's important to dig in so you're knowledgeable what's going on.
Thanks everyone for your input on that. I just want to go back to budgeting for a second, only because Jamie seems to be a budget prophet.